Right. 1 March 2026. And today I'm excited to be giving you the evening update. And today is a very sad day on which we are witnessing the beating that has taken place in Harare. So this afternoon, we have seen videos starting to circulate of Professor Lovemore Madhuku and members of his National Constitutional Assembly who were beaten up and were at a clinic where they were getting treatment. They were so badly beaten that the wounds show very bad intentions. If you look at how they were beaten, this is very bad. And there has been widespread condemnation across the board of this beating, except as expected, the police of Zimbabwe have not condemned. However, what the police of Zimbabwe have done is they've issued a statement this evening. So the ZRP of Zimbabwe has issued a formal statement blaming Professor Lovemore Madhuku for what has happened. So this was issued less than 19 minutes ago. And this is what they say. Here, you can go and watch this at the official police statements. So that is on at ZRP or Zimbabwe Police on Twitter. So their statement says, and I'm going to read it here for you. It says, the Zimbabwe Republic Police has noted reports of an alleged attack on Professor Lovemore Madhuku and members of his team. For the record, the police were not involved in the alleged incident. In actual fact, Professor Madhuku and his team had previously notified the regulating authority regarding the intended meeting. Upon reviewing the notification, the regulating authority identified certain irregularities and engaged the NCA convener in advising that the meeting was not sanctioned. As such, no police personnel were deployed to oversee them or monitor the meeting in question. The ZRP is keen to know what actually transpired on the alleged attack on Lovemore Madhuku and his team. So you can clearly see that the police are saying they had told him not to have the meeting, and he went ahead and had the meeting. So they are blaming him for having the meeting. What has been happening is that the police have been blocking everybody who is not in ZANU-PF from holding any consultation on Constitutional Bill Amendment number 3. So firstly, Madhuku himself and Fadzai Mahere and Munzora were supposed to hold a session, a town hall in Harare, and they were blocked. Then we've seen the arrest yesterday of MP Daniel Molekele. We've also seen the blocking of a session that was supposed to be held in Bulawayo. We've also seen the blocking of another session that was supposed to be held by Kotat, who was supposed to hold another one. And this is continuing. Anyone, even CDF of Tendai BT, they were blocked from launching, and they've been continuously blocked ever since they started to try and launch. So the police in Zimbabwe, they are continuing to block everyone. However, ZANU-PF is allowed to hold meetings. Today, they held meetings in all 10 provinces. So that is ZANU-PF holding their meetings in public without being disturbed. And their leaders are addressing them for the whole day, and they're not being bothered or anything. So I've got a guest very quickly here. General, I'm so sorry that we are getting you a bit late. Have you seen what has happened to Madhuku and the police response? The police have said that they told him not to hold the meeting. What do you have to say about it?
Thank you, Gambakwe, and thank you, viewers, for being here. First of all, I would love to say Zimbabweans, we are getting sloppy, and at the same time, we have to be so careful about this regime. This is a rogue regime that is depriving people of their right, the right to gather under any political circumstances, to discuss about politics, to discuss about their beloved Zimbabwe. Madhuku has a right to gather his people. He has a right to hold a meeting regarding any political circumstances in Zimbabwe. However, the police in Zimbabwe should focus on criminals. should focus on apprehending criminals, not people who are trying to fix the political landscape in Zimbabwe. Madhuku is one of the brilliant lecturers at UZ, and at the same time, he is a brilliant lawyer. And Madhuku has been in the Zimbabwean political terrain for a long time. And he understands the constitution more than a lot of people that I cannot name with names. However, the police are now blaming him for bringing people together and discuss the bill number 3. It is our right as Zimbabwean people to gather around within the 90 days and discuss the bill. That's why it's gazetted for 90 days, which means any police officer or any authority does not have a right to dismantle those meetings or those gatherings.
Okay. So General, I don't want us to spend too much time on this because it's been heavily discussed the whole day and it's a Sunday. I think it's clear what you've said. What do you expect to happen now? People are being blocked. As a bigger picture, what should people do now? CDF was blocked, Mahero was blocked, himself, Madhuku, has been blocked. All these people have been blocked and arrested. What should happen?
We are being subjected to the game of ZANU-PF. We have to be very careful. So ZANU-PF is saying we are not going to subject ourselves to a referendum. However, I do see a sneaky referendum coming through. This is an attempt to consolidate people to rally behind the bill number 3. At a last minute, they will invoke the referendum without giving an opportunity for the opposition side to gather around the people, without giving the opposition to explain the bill number 3. They will invoke a referendum. That's what I can see. Why? Because there is an opposition, a resistance within ZANU-PF that is saying, no, we cannot break the rule. We cannot introduce this bill without referendum. So Mnangagwa and his goons now, they are at a point whereby they are considering a referendum. But introducing a referendum now, it will be too risky for them without them making their case. So they are making their case. At the last minute, they will agree to a referendum. And there is no time to bring people together, and there is no time to explain the bill for the opposition. That's where I'm seeing this thing is going. The beating of Madhuku, it's a message to the Zimbabwean people that, look, we are the authority, you are the subjects. So don't question the authority. This is the time of Caesar. Mnangagwa is making himself the Caesar of Zimbabwe, a kingdom of Zimbabwe, and he is Caesar, whereby you cannot challenge the authority. You are the subject, he is the authority. And Mnangagwa's goons, they are the hand of the authority, which means no one can question the hand of the authority. We are in a banana republic as we speak, or I can say we are in an abyss where nobody knows what's going on and nobody understands the terrain of abyss. However, as Zimbabwean people, we need now to hold hands and explain kuna gogo vari kudotitu, kana gogo vari kuchenda kwachenda mbuya, kana sekuru vari kwa mzarabani, kana vari kuhoya kwa mzarabani. We need to explain to them that do not throw away your power, the power to vote for your own president, the power to vote for your own choosing leader. You choose your own leader as a right. Don't throw away that power. Do not give it away to Mnangagwa. Do not give it away to the current regime. The liberation struggle was fought based on one principle: one man, one vote. That was the turning point. And we agreed, say, we are fighting for our freedom, one man, one vote. So let's stick to Hokoe Chirangani yoyo. If you try to change it, you better come with a better explanation, not beating people to understand your explanation. Come and explain to us, why do you want to change Hokoe Chirangani? Why do you want us to follow your strategy? Come and explain to us, not to beat us up, not to beat people around, to make them understand what you want to. If it's good for the Zimbabwean people, why don't you explain it to them? Not beating them around. Bring the people together. That is the National Sports Stadium. and say, guys, I've come with this bill because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and give the opportunity for people to speak. Send people out and give the Zimbabwean people chance to speak their grievances, than to force them to understand your political trajectory by beating them up. You become the Caesar of Zimbabwe, Julius Caesar of Zimbabwe.
So, General, I think we got it. Let's quickly go into an update. You are an authority on the Middle East. Give us a roundup of what's happening over there.
Ayatollah Khamenei has been killed last night, today in the morning, by the way, and Iran has announced that they have replaced Ayatollah with Reza. However, the war is not yet ending. It's still going on. The Iranian military is actually consolidating all their nuclear, their bombs or whatever, their artillery, and they are attacking all the GCC countries. I'm in Kuwait. I've witnessed the airport being bombed. I've witnessed also the Dubai Burj Khalifa. There was a bomb that was dropped also there. In Qatar, the same thing. And what I can say is the world is on fire because of one man, Donald Trump. What you don't understand is every country has a right to make their own decisions. Even Iran is not part of the non-nuclear deal. Let them be if they want to have a nuclear power, if they want to be a nuclear power. If you don't want Iran to have nuclear power, America, they should drop their nuclear power also. Let them be. It's a sovereign country. It's a country that has a right to make their own decision. So let them make their own decision. And at the same time...
Okay. I've got a question on that, General. We understand that 35,000 protesters were killed. Yes. And that is what pushed through this decision by President Trump to send soldiers. Is this true?
No, it's not true. You are getting the story upside down. Israel, on Thursday night, around 11 o'clock, Israel attacked Iran. They actually bombed Iran around 11 p.m. on Thursday. So Iran had to retaliate. There was two things that were said by Iran. Ayatollah said, if Israel attacks Iran, Iran will retaliate by bombing all the allies of United States within the region. If America attacks Iran, Iran will bomb Israel. That was the statement. Israel bombed Iran, and Iran did exactly what they said. We will actually bomb all the GCC countries that has American bases. They are not bombing civilians. They are bombing American bases within the GCC countries because they had promised to do that. And it is actually quite sad that America has to dictate the rules for Iran how to behave as a sovereign nation. Iran is a sovereign nation that has a right to make their own rules. And at the same time, why America is getting involved? Israel and Iran, they have their own feud that started years ago. After Netanyahu lied that Iran has nuclear weapons, and Iran does not have. They just gave the right to anyone who wants to assess if they have nuclear weapons. And it was done. There's nothing. Even after they...
So how are you living right now? Tell me how it's looking like right now. Do you go in a bomb shelter? What's happening?
I'm not in a bomb shelter. Why do I need to hide? I'm not going to hide from anyone. I'm moving freely and I go to work every day as normal. If they drop bombs on us, we will see on that time. But at the moment, I am not afraid of anything, and I'm not afraid of these bombs. I sympathize with Iran because Iran is a sovereign nation. They have a right to make their own rules. And if anyone comes in Zimbabwe and tell us how should we live, I have a problem with that person, because Zimbabwe is a sovereign country. It has a right to make its own rules. The same implies to Iran. It's a sovereign nation that has its own right to make its own rules. And America...
So give us an idea, because we don't understand how these countries are. Give us a geographical understanding of how far you are from Iran. How far are these countries from each other?
Okay, Iran controls the Hamas stratus, the 33-kilometer between the Gulf, the Gulf, they call it the Gulf Ocean, that controls all the imports and export from the Middle East to Europe and to Africa. So Iran controls that whole ocean mostly, and I am actually 2 hours away from Iran. If it's a plane, it's 45 minutes. I can drive from here. I can drive from here for breakfast, and I eat lunch in Iran. I can go back and forth. I can work in Iran and come back home and sleep at home every day. So I'm actually at the border of Iran. So what I'm saying, the geographical distance between Iran and the GCC countries, which is UAE, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Oman, it's quite close. And Iran is the bigger brother to these countries. Iran understands the treacherous terrain, the treacherous political terrain that they are living. However, America has now bases in each and every country of these GCCs. Like in Kuwait, there are about 5 of them. And in Doha, in Kuwait, in Qatar, in Bahrain, in Saudi Arabia, America is halfway across the world. How do they say they have bases in other countries that threatens the sovereignty of other countries? It's not quite right.
Okay, but why is Dubai getting bombed? Why is Dubai getting bombed?
Because they have a base, American bases in Dubai. The American base is in Dubai, whereby the active soldiers on duty from America, they are living in Dubai and exercising their military drills in Dubai. If America wants to send bombers to Iran, they don't have to fly from America. They have to fly from either Kuwait. They can fly from Doha. They were flying from Doha. Everything that America is initiating, they're initiating through Qatar. So how, if I was let's put this in a simple equation. We're in Zimbabwe. Then Botswana has American base. South Africa has an American base, and Mozambique has an American base. And I'm not a friend of America. I will not allow that. Why? Because it is a threat to the region. It is a threat to the region whereby America now controls the region and controls the exports and the imports of that region. And at the same time, there is one country that can actually control that, look, we are the GCC. We should have our own community. It's our right to have our own community that we control our exports and imports, not America that is halfway across the world. It's on the other side of the world. So why do they have to control the other business on the other side of the world? These countries, they have their own right to make their own rules. They are sovereign countries. They should make their right. They should make their own bloc without American interference.
Okay, let's talk about food. Tonight, we've seen the Dubai government has announced that anyone who is in a hotel, they will pay for that person to live in the hotel. What about food? How are the countries going to get food if the Hamas Strait is closed?
That's a quite a difficult situation, because if the Hamas Strait is closed, that means the whole GCC will suffer. But Dubai, it has an access to Africa on the other side of Dubai. They can access Africa through Egypt. They can access Africa through Saudi Arabia. So they can use the other side. But Kuwait is on the middle of at the edge of Dubai, and at the other side there is Iran. So there is no other way to get food. You have to get food from the Hamas Strait. So it's quite difficult to get food if there is a blockade. This blockade continues. But this is not the end of the war. It's just the beginning of it. Because now the Iranian government has appointed Reza to be the supreme leader. And I still stand with my previous answer, saying that Iran is a sovereign nation which deserves to make their own decision. They are a sovereign nation. As I'm fighting for Zimbabwe, that Zimbabwe is also a sovereign nation. No one should tell us how to solve our problems. We have problems in Zimbabwe, but I will not allow someone to come and solve those problems for us or to tell us how to solve those problems. We have a problem with ZANU-PF, which they make their own decisions. They want to declare their superiority in Zimbabwe, but I will not allow another country to come and solve that problem for us. because
Okay.
that will
What
depend.
about BRICS? Why is BRICS not doing anything?
BRICS, it's a strategic economic bloc, not it's not like a NATO. NATO, it's countries that came together to combat a military, to put together their military ideas on how to protect each other. But BRICS it's a bloc that comes together and say, let's combat the economic side of the of politics. Let's build a bloc that can help each other in building economy, not building armies. That's the difference between BRICS and NATO.
Okay. So in short, how do you think this is going to turn out?
America is going to suffer a heavy blow, and it will cost other countries like UAE, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia. They've already suffered a major blow where there is no business. All the businesses are closed due to uncertainty and due to the escalating of this war. The death of Khamenei is actually another blow that will rise. A bigger war is coming after the death of Khamenei, because Iran is promising, and they've already started making their moves on retaliating. And we don't know how they're going to retaliate. This might cause a major blow to the world, because if the Hamas Strait is closed, Africa also will suffer. India will suffer. China will suffer. So the whole world is going to suffer because of this move that was made by United States.
Okay, we understand that the new Ayatollah has already been killed.
Yes.
So the new one who replaced Khamenei has also been killed?
Not yet. No, that's a lie. He's just been announced 2 hours ago. How can he be killed? It's 2 hours ago they declared him the supreme leader.
Okay. All right, cool. I think maybe tomorrow let's have you back again, because most of the people, like personally, we don't understand the geography of the Middle East. I think that is in general in Zimbabwe. Most people don't understand the geography. We understand that Iran has got 90 million people, which is a very big number. And also from a demographic perspective, how many women, how many Muslim, how many Christians, we don't understand those numbers. Maybe you can give us an understanding tomorrow.
Yeah, that's actually quite interesting geographical map of the Middle East. It's Middle East Asia. There's half there in Asia, half there in Middle East. But if you look at the world map, it's quite distorted somehow. But the Middle Eastern people, they rely mostly on the United States for security reasons, because they are the United States is the major contributor to their economies. But however, it's a bloc that can stand on its own, like the fight that we're engaged in Africa. That Africa, it's a bloc that needs to stand on its own, and Middle East also, it's a bloc that needs to stand on its own without anyone's interference. So I condemn these attacks on the Middle East, that America is causing trouble in the Middle East. And in America, there's peace in their country, there's all stability in their country, and they cause instability in other countries. So America, as a bigger brother, should come down and try to negotiate better deals with a sense of saying, this is our world and everyone has a right, and we go to the table as equals, not someone has an advantage. So America wants to have an advantage on negotiating deals, which Iran is saying, no, let's negotiate as equals, as nations that have equal capacity and equal sovereignty to discuss better deals for our countries, for our nations, and for our people. That's what we are fighting for also in Zimbabwe. Anyone who wants to negotiate with Zimbabwean people, we should negotiate as equals, as sovereign nations, as people who has a right to make the rules in their own country.
Okay, stay safe over there. I don't know if I would be able to stay 2 kilometers from bombs.
It's you will get used. I'm getting used to it, and I think it's a quite a space whereby I'm being prepared for something bigger. I don't know, but I do appreciate the experience to see it firsthand and to understand the geopolitics behind it, and to understand how to deal with it if this situation was invoked in Zimbabwe. So I'm grateful that I'm still alive to witness this, and I'm gaining also experience on how to deal with it and what should be done to avoid these hideous political agendas that are hidden through bombs.
Thank you very much, General. I really enjoyed talking to you. It's a Sunday. We try to keep our people very shortly. Is there anything else you want to say before we close?
What I want to say is my usual speech, that we say no to the amendment bill number 3. As Zimbabwean people, the liberation struggle was fought only on one basis: one man, one vote. The Josiah Magambatongo Gara said, I would want to live in a Zimbabwe whereby I'm allowed to choose a leader that I want, in a Zimbabwe where everyone is equal to another and everyone has equal opportunities. So we say no to the amendment bill number 3, and we say no to the brutalization of the mouthpieces of the people like Lovemore Madhuku. I say no to the terrorization of the people that are talking about the 2030 agenda of Mnangagwa, the people who are saying no to the 2030 agenda. To ZANU-PF, I want to say, if what you are proposing, it's good for the country, give them time to think about it, to talk about it, to debate about it without fear, without a cohesion, to understand what you are trying to put across. If we are a democracy, we need to talk, regardless of our political diversities. We have to talk. And after we talk, we will find a superior idea that can govern all of us. So to ZANU-PF, we will not back down at the Zimbabwean people. We say no to the 2030 agenda. We say no to the brutalization of the mouthpieces of Zimbabwe. We say no to the terrorization of the territory of Zimbabwe in the name of the superiority of ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF is not superior. The idea of liberation is superior. The idea of one man, one vote. We have people that died in Chimoyo, died for one man, one vote. We have people that died in Nyazonya, dying for one man, one vote. That is a superior idea. One man, one vote. And people died for that. So we still stand at that. One man, one vote. A free Zimbabwe with equality, a free Zimbabwe with equal opportunity. That's what we stand for. So we are saying no to 2030. Thank you, Gambakwe.
Thank you, General. Please don't forget to come tomorrow. We need to keep abreast on this issue of Iran. And I know that you're the only person who knows, because you're the only person who's over there.
Thank you, Gambakwe, and thank you, viewers, for having me.
Thank you very much, and a good night to everybody.
Thank you.
Kuno abo bano mama wanna get it nice. I know food I miss, I know food I say, I know kaya mari. Don't come, when don't come, Anogaya Mari.
Gambakwe uyo anotara mari anogaya mari garai mamunzwa pane nyaya pano zvamunoda kunzwa zvinotaurwa pano madiko kumunzwa mugovane.com. Gambakwe vanogaya mari vanotara mari vanoziya mari. Gambakwe vanotara peya kuti pamberi zvichafamba sei. Vanomuterere zvikubatsirei mukufamba kwenyu zvikubatsirei. Mirai ndikudze kuti chokwadi pano chizere. Gambakwe vanogaya cash vanopa mafacts vanotara straight vane evidence vane confidence plus intelligence
entertainment current affairs and news. Gambakwe.com. Usasarire Gambakwe anogaya mari.